All right. What is the thought process in terms of this infrastructure bill, all of the taxation, regulatory debate? Don't get into the politics. I don't care about the politics, but do you think that it's something where the U.S. basically ends up embracing this, or do you think the U.S. is adversarial toward it over a long period of time?
No, I think we're going to embrace it. I'm actually happy the deal didn't get rushed through. I'm in the camp that says I'd rather have the policy match the objectives of innovation. And I think the US should lead in crypto innovation. We should be developing the technology. Some of the companies that you showed me months and months ago are very forward thinking. They need to work in, the stuff we looked at together. They need to work in a compliance environment. Every single company that wants to raise institutional capital has to embrace the regulator. And I'm waiting for it. So I'd rather see policy developed that, does not, that if you're a broker dealer and you're trading assets, you have to go with a certain level of compliance based on broker dealers that trade financial assets. But if you're a miner and you're actually an infrastructure play in mining coin, maybe the regulation should be a little different for you. And I'd rather have the policy developed with the actual industry participants in a way that makes us the global leader. Now that China's shutting down all those miners, particularly the ones that were using coal to burn electricity, this is a huge opportunity for US. And so we should take leadership on sustainable Bitcoin mining and other, all the talk about Ethereum and proof of stake and proof of work and all the things that are going on there, very interesting. This sector requires the regulator to issue policy. And once policy is issued, let the competition begin, because I'll tell you, a ton of capital is going to be coming into the space.
We've seen in the past in financial markets, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but I was reading about this over the weekend, an absolute drastic increase in America's position in the global financial system. The more that we pursue deregulation, that comes with risks, but historically that has been a positive. Do we think that that framework applies here as well, where you basically need some boundaries of, hey, this is really, really offside stuff. This is really bad. You can't commit fraud, no scams, all the stuff that is kind of common sense. But within that sandbox, if you will, the less regulation, the better from a innovation, experimentation, and really pushing us forward? Or how would you look at that with that historical context of deregulation in America's place as the leader on a global scale?
Yeah, that's a good question. Here's the way I look at it. There's billions of dollars being invested in DeFi, all the different payment solution opportunities, all the different things that can be done around crypto assets there. And that's definitely where the puck is going. And I've got several bets going on in that space. And Pomp, we haven't even talked about NFTs. I mean,
what do you think
NFTs,
about those?
Well, so let's just think about that for a second. If I'm the regulator, okay, and I want innovation. They always want innovation. They don't want to, stifle innovation. Maybe the way I look at it, and I'm just speculating on what they might do, is they'll say, okay, let's do it this way. If there's an off-ramp and on-ramp with fiat onto a DeFi platform, I got to regulate that, because I'm taking regulated currency, putting it onto a deregulated, decentralized platform. But when it goes back to fiat, I want the tax reporting. Was there a capital gain or loss on the trade? Was there interest, which is interest income? I want the regulatory environment to apply to that, even though it's innovation, so that I can get a 1099 or whatever I need to do for external regulators. And I think if the industry understands what those policies are and what those rules are, that'll accelerate innovation. Now, when it comes to NFTs, I'm going to make a statement here that you may not believe, but I think that in the next 5 years, the market capitalization of the NFT markets will exceed that of Bitcoin itself. I really believe that, because the potential for all of these industries that are, dealing with physical assets that want to give them accreditation or give them provenance or sell NFTs from that is billions of dollars. It's billions of dollars, from the Mona Lisa to my watch collection. And so I look at it and say to myself, which of those verticals should I become an investor in and stake my claim? And the one that I'm starting with, I haven't talked much about this, and I don't think I've ever mentioned to you, is I'm building a team around the watch industry. I mean, I've been a watch collector for 40 years. I've got a massive buildup in that asset class, and I want every single one of my pieces to have an NFT associated with it. And I know all of the large collectors around the world, and I've talked to them, and they all want the same thing. It's a multi-billion-dollar space waiting to emerge in the next 24 months. And I'm going to lead the charge there. It's a very arrogant thing to say, but nobody knows the people I know in terms of how to put this thing together. But that's just one tiny vertical. So here's my question, and you answer it for me. Is an NFT of a watch a security or is it a piece of art? Which is it?
I love you. I wouldn't buy it, so I don't have to worry about that. But I know you would buy it, and I bet you know what the answer is. My guess is they would deem it a security only if the purchase was made to try to increase the price. Like you're buying it specifically for the price appreciation, not for collection or wearing the watch, etc. But how do you determine that? I don't know.
Well, that's a very interesting answer because that's the debate going on right now. Because the same thing for art. If you buy a piece of art, because let's face it, the NFT I want to buy, let's say I know a collector named Bill and he's got a one-of-a-kind FP Journe watch that I can never have because it's one of a kind. And he's got 3 NFTs. I'm a buyer. I'd like to buy that NFT. I don't know what it's going to trade for. It's going to get auctioned, but I bet you in 5 years it's worth more. Now, that's no different than buying a Warhol, right? So I think we need to get policy on that. Meanwhile, back at the farm, the reason I want to get all my watches turned into NFTs is I've gone to the insurer and they've said, if you can go get them accredited with an NFT and authorized by the original manufacturer, and that becomes a 000 serial number to your watch serial number, we'll give you a discount on your insurance.
Why?
Because what they're going to do is say, look, if we can identify that watch in perpetuity, so when it's stolen, we can simply let the entire world know that if you don't own that NFT, your watch is stolen. That takes a lot of pressure off thieves and stealing watches. If all the world's one-of-a-kind watches were NFT'd with authorizations, who's going to buy a stolen one-of-a-kind unless they get the authorization NFT? I wouldn't do it. And it makes the value of the stolen piece drop dramatically. That's why there's so much rush to do this, because right now, even the original papers for old one-of-a-kind pieces are forged. You can't forge an NFT of a one-of-a-kind Patek Philippe. You just can't. And that's why there's such an interesting opportunity here.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching that clip of the Best Business Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you know when we go live every weekday, and then head to SoFi.com/pomp so that you can get an account and we can get after it.